Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you. You're watching a brand new episode of Encounter. Today, our guest has worked in the Ministry of Education for around 35 years. Listen well to this. She began her career as an educator and retired as a chief technical officer. Over the journey of her career, she has handled many portfolios, and most importantly, she was the Secretary General for the National Commission of UNESCO for Mauritius. Our guest is none other than Mila Dhunnockchand, and a very warm welcome to you, and thank you for being here in the studios of the MBC.
Well, namaste. Thank you very much.
So, Mrs. Mila, thank you very much again.
My pleasure.
First question.
Okay.
Shravan Mass was not very well known before, but over the recent years, it has become very popular around the world and also in Mauritius. Can you please tell us what is Shravan Mass?
Well, let us start with the words Shravan Mass. It's normally Shravan is a noun, and Mass also is a noun. So we normally say Shravani Mass. Shravani becomes an adjective qualifying which month it is. So Shravani Mass is, as you say, it's true. It's becoming more and more popular in the sense that activities all around the world are gathering more impetus, and they are more visible to the world. What is it actually? Shravan Mass is the name of a month, and that month is a particular time when, the month between July and August, in Indian calendar, a month starts in between, the middle of one month to the other. So this Shravani month used to be a very peculiar time in ancient times, should we say. And it used to be the rainy season, as it is actually even now.
The monsoon period.
The monsoon period, which starts normally around June, Indian time and Indian calendar, I'm saying. And that used to be a period when the people, working in the fields and so on, couldn't work because of the heavy rains and so on. So what would they do? How best to make use of their time? So they would go within. That is a beautiful thing, because you can't go outside, you go within. It has got a spiritual connotation somewhere where you tell yourself, okay, so you can't go out, you can't work, so what will you do? So they used to make best use of this time by meeting, great sages and people who are knowledgeable in the scriptures and learn from them how to go about their life and perhaps improve their mode of life. So the Shravani Mass this year started from the 13th of July and is ending on the 11th with Purnima. Purnima means the full moon,
Full moon, yes.
And it's going to end up with that, and that's going to be Raksha Bandhan, known, And the Shravani Mass is scattered with lots of little celebrations that we have according to the Hindu calendar. In this period, there are two specific things that happen all around. Number one, in Mauritius, I know it since very, very long time, they called it the Shravani Mahina Mass, in which we used to have havans everywhere. The Arya Samajis performed havan all around Mauritius. And there used to be, Bahukundiya havan. Bahukundiya means where you have a lot of the kund in which we light the fire and we pour the ahuti,
Yes.
the oblations.
Yes.
And so it used to be a practice for them. But since some 4 or 5 years in Mauritius, we have noted that Shiv Puja also has started gathering impetus.
I've noticed that normally people build towers during March Rush in the month of, whether it's end of February, beginning of March.
Exactly.
But I've seen on our roads very small delegations carrying towers to a specific place. So this is done in the month of Shravani Mass?
Yes, normally during Mahashivaratri, this is a very popular event and people throng in the streets and, it's very different on a very large scale. In this month, you will see as you mentioned, small groups and batches of people going, particularly young people going, to Grand Bassin, Paritalav, as we used to call it, and now it's Ganga Talav. And this pilgrimage is something which has become a bit popular since some 4 or 5 years. And why this? It's because now people are having more contacts with India, Many go for pilgrimages. You have the YouTube, you have internet, you have all these, and people are very much linked to the social media.
So people are
they
learning
know.
more about their culture.
Yes. Therefore, they continue, and in Mauritius, this practice has started again. But what is, let me mention one little point before we go ahead. What is very peculiar about this is the purity concept. You know, purifying agent. Why purifying agent? Because when you do Havan Yaj, you are sort of purifying the environment
Yes.
through the oblations you pour, through the mantras you are chanting. And in Shiv Puja also, Shivatva means purity. And when you talk of purity and you are doing Shiv Puja, you are constantly trying to go in this process of also purifying yourself.
So this would be a time where they would experience the journey inwards and seek higher knowledge or try to educate themselves or gain better knowledge.
Definitely.
Definitely. So when this happens, who do you normally go and see? What is the normal procedure? Also, why is it associated with Lord Shiva also? You know, we're in the year 2022.
Yeah.
So we have to relate to how all these are relevant to our lives nowadays. So this is my question to you.
It's very beautiful, you know. I was thinking of the COVID-19. And when the COVID-19 came, you know, and invaded the entire world, people had to stay indoors. I was thinking of it, you know, staying indoors brought a lot of benefits also to families, family gatherings, being together. Of course, COVID has brought so many other painful experiences for people.
But it has brought families together and it has helped people redefine what is really important in their lives.
Yeah, exactly. And there are many kids who will tell you, I talked to kids who said that, it's for the first time that, you know, we stayed together for so long. We had time to chat.
With the parents also.
We play with the parents indoors because you can't go outside anywhere, you know. So those were beautiful experiences. And I think staying inside, indoors, has got a big connotation because it means going within.
Yes.
Because if you have to make this discovery, we were working with some kids and we were talking about this, we said it's a journey that you do on your own. Nobody's going to be with you when you have to make this discovery of yourself, you know. And when we talk of spirituality, indeed we talk of Paramatma, we talk of God and all this research. So why are we talking of purity? Purity is definitely, it's meant to be there because when you're fasting, you're doing good actions, you're meeting people, you're doing satsang as we call. Satsang means the company of good ones, of good people.
Where you
of
normally
those,
sing
yes.
kirtans and bhajans,
So
right?
you're going to be good and do good. So what do these things do? They help you into rethinking about where you are on your track. It's a beautiful track that starts.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Ms. Mila, we'll continue with this discussion, but in the meantime, I'll invite you. I'll also invite the viewers of Encounter to have a look at the following report, and we can have a more in-depth definition of the month Shravani Mas, and we'll be back shortly. Don't go away. The Hindu month of Shravan is usually during the month of July and August, and celebrations are carried out with puja and offerings made in the name of Lord Shiva, the god of destruction. Believers observe fast on every Monday during this month and decorate Shiva temples with flowers. According to Hindu mythology, when the gods and demons worked in this month ensure good prospective husbands for unmarried girls and good health for husbands of married women. They believe Parvati observed fast for the entire month of Shravan before Lord Shiva was impressed and married her. Shravan is also the month when pilgrims go on Kaur journeys. The destination for Kaur journeys are Shiva temples and are ideally done on foot. Shiva devotees carry holy water from the river which hangs on their shoulders with the help of Kaurs. The month ends with Raksha Bandhan, the festival that celebrates the bond between brothers and sisters. Welcome back. You're still watching Encounter and Mrs. Mila is still with us in the studio. Before watching the report, you were speaking about the importance of Shravani Mas and how it is a month dedicated to going inwards.
Indeed.
I have two questions for you. How is the Hindu calendar different from the Roman calendar? But also, why is it so important to go within?
When we look at the compendium of knowledge related to the Hindu philosophy, then we have a few elements that cannot be, we can't keep that as an oversight. Number one is when you study that, you think of God, right? You think of man. You think of, I won't say universe, I will say existence, which has multiple universes, right? Then, apart from this, we have the relationship amongst these things. Like if we talk about the relationship between man and God, then it is religion. When we talk about the relationship between man, God, and universe, then it is the whole philosophy of life, right? But then added to it is the other concept where we talk in terms of what have our scriptures given to us. So when we talk about all these, we say, calendar? What's the Hindu calendar? When you look at the Hindu calendar, it looks quite complicated. It immediately relates to, the movement of the planets.
And the moon. When is the new moon? When is the full moon?
Exactly.
Yes.
Everybody knows the names of the days of a week. Somvar, Mangalvar, Buddhavar, Brihaspativar. Som, Mangal, Buddha, Brihaspati, all these are names of planets, the 9 planets. So the 7 are counted into this, so the 7 days of a week. So how come this is like that? Similarly, when we talk in terms of the 12 months, it is the names of the Adityas. We'll go to that perhaps another time. It's a long research.
It's a very scientific, these are very scientific names, not just words that came about.
Exactly. And this is why when we think of all these, we say, okay, when you look at the Hindu calendar, look at when you do a puja, right? When you sit down, and you're doing a puja, the Pandit, he will start with doing a sankalpam, where you take water in your hands, you put flour, yes. The first one is the purification process of mind, the heart, eyes, and all, thinking of only of God. But when you take this water and you do the sankalpam, perhaps they put some cash and things like that into it, you're praying, you're inviting, you are invoking, you are asking the divinities to be there present when you're sitting for the prayer. It's a grand thing,
So I think it is very important when people sit for a puja or for a havan.
Yes.
You should have the Pandit explaining the person what is being done and why he's doing it or she's doing it. Because then when you have knowledge to what you're doing and not just doing it blindly,
it becomes meaningful.
It becomes meaningful and mindful.
Exactly. And you know what you're doing. And when you know what you're doing, you may have more interest into that. When you don't know, it becomes a passive participation.
Because when I look at the younger generation, okay, I'm in between the younger and the older generation now. When I would sit for a havan, I would not understand anything what I was doing because I'm like, okay, this becomes boring. I'm just following instructions. But it becomes more interesting when you know why you're doing something, not mechanically, but there's a science and a logic that is attached to it.
Definitely.
So just for the water that you use for the beginning of a havan
yes,
it
because
has a
you
huge
say,
meaning.
See this. We take the water for the beginning. We say, Om Amrito Pastaranamasi Swaha, and then we take the first sip. Then Amrita Bidhan. It means that may all that I take, partake through my mouth and my tongues and I put inside my body become nectar. And nectar is sublime, when you think of this. And it keeps going on like this, the mantras. And then you do this, you put water and you say, Om Vangame Asayastu. Means whatever I say and I pronounce may it be pure. Om Nasormi, whatever I breathe, may be pure. Oxygenation, all those things. Then whatever I see, may I see what is right. It keeps going like this.
So you're surrendering your senses to God so that in a way you become purer?
Yep. See this thing. We will come back to the calendar. When you say Shravani, you have the word Shravan into that because I was doing this and I remembered, So Om Nasorme Pranovastu, Om Akshanorme, Om Karnayorme Shrotamastu. Karna means the ears.
The ears. Okay.
Shrotra means the power of hearing.
Okay.
Listening. And it's great. Let my ears become that powerful that they accept all that is like nectar. It's so beautiful. Shrotram, Shruti, Shravan, Shravani are so connected. So how can we say it is a word that carries a lot of culture into that? Because then it means Shruti are Vedas, right?
Okay.
Shrutra,
Shruti is derived from the word Shravan.
Shravan. Shravan is what you hear.
Exactly.
And Shruti is Vedas, because Vedas are revelations from God, you know.
Yes, we did have a recent encounter about the sacred scriptures in the
Yes.
Hindu mythology. Yes, yes.
Encounter again. Yeah. Okay, so you know, it tells a lot. So these are so closely linked. You can't dissociate one from the other. Coming back to the calendar, you know, it is different. So we start our yearly calendar from the month of March, April. What you call Yugadi?
Yes.
Yug.
Yeah.
Yug means beginning.
Yes.
Adi means beginning, and Yug means age. It's
Yes.
the beginning of a year.
It's a very special day because then you
Exact.
have so many cultures celebrating the New Year, and for me also it's the New Year for my family also.
Oh, good.
And I've always found it very confusing that we do New Year 31st of December to 1st of January, and then it's
That's
New Year again.
Yeah.
Depending on the moon.
Depend exactly.
Exactly.
All our calendars, you know, are based on Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha. Krishna Paksha means the dark side, means when you have the waning, you know, moon, you have less and less light. And Shukla Paksha means when you have the waxing, you know, it flowers, it
Yes.
becomes bigger. So that's it starts. So we start our new year from Yugadi. And Yugadi it's beautiful, you know. This year, I celebrated Yugadi with a great master, you know. And he was reading the entire of Panchang. Panchang is a horoscope,
Yes.
as you call it. So the Yugadi is celebrated with a mention of the Panchang. It's beautiful in the sense that it gives you an orientation of, these are the tendencies of this year. These are the tendencies of the moving of the planets and the horoscopes of people, because when you are born and
So you have the predictions, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
say, I don't believe it's an accurate thing, but I think it's something that you should just take into consideration. Keep it at the back of your mind when you
Exactly.
take a decision going forward.
it's not. It's like when you talk of Purnamasi.
Okay.
You say the full moon, then immediately you link it to the waves and the tides
Tides,
and
exactly.
so on.
And ourselves, because it affects the water in ourselves.
Water
yes.
in our body.
Yes.
So all these have got a meaning. We want to believe it or not. How we take the mathematical calculations from the Vedas is a different concept. It is so accurate.
But so
Yes.
it is so old also, and it's very impressive that they had so much knowledge from so many years.
So it starts from a month of March, April, and then it will end up February, March. This
okay.
is our calendar. Whereas generally in the Roman calendar, it will start from January, it will end with December. And we know we have the Vikrami Samvat that we call the Hindu calendar is following the Vikrami Samvat. There are two Samvats. One is before the Vikrami Samvat, and then now we are following the Vikrami Samvat. Just like
What is the
in
meaning
the
of
Roman,
Vikrami
I'll give
Samvat?
you that. Like in the Roman calendar, you have different types of, you know, like Gregorian, you have calendar. Yeah, so, you know, in the same way, Vikrami Samvat starts with the king Vikramaditya. Vikramaditya put an order into things while he was
He's the
doing
one
his
who
planning.
coined the Hindu calendar.
Exactly.
All right, yes.
That's the first one. And it was 57 years BC.
Yes.
So when you count, like today you will say 2022
plus 57.
plus 57, this is the Hindu calendar. So the Hindu calendar is 2079.
Yes. There are so many things in Hinduism that exist from before that have gone through centuries and generations. But the knowledge behind the practices has lost its meaning over the years. So where have we gone wrong?
You see, the pace of life has multiplied, I don't know, by thousands or I don't know how much, but we can't quantify that. But the fact is, we are moving at a jet speed. Our thinking, our mode of living, our way of eating, drinking, and relationships that we share, with our kids, with our family, with our spouse, with people around us. We don't have time to even look at the person when we are talking at the person. We are fiddle with our own, thinking and thoughts and what we have to
Definitely.
tell. And life has gone berserk in a way.
Yes.
Why is it today? It's a question, to put to ourselves. So much is being spent on education
So
and learning. And yet, why is the social, standards, are these going down? Why are we so worried? It's because there is something missing.
there's a degradation of the values.
There is. Fundamentally, when we talk of education, we talk of three. That's the
It's
curriculum.
not just academic.
Yes. We talk of those three elements. It's Tattva Gyan, which means knowledge of matter. Then you have Atma Gyan, knowledge of the self. Then you have Brahma Gyan, means knowledge about God. We won't say that we stop with one and then to the other and then to the other. That is, in this process, lots
They're
of
all interconnected.
interconnected. Because when you talk of Tattva Gyan, we're talking of Tattva Gyan, and Tattva Gyan is knowledge of matter. All the subjects we are learning is related to Tattva Gyan.
What would you share with people nowadays going forward to try and hopefully help improve their lives?
I'm in a period of, if you talk of the Hindu philosophy, then you have the Balyakal, the childhood, and then you keep going, And we have reached the sannyas period.
Okay.
The period where, you sannyas means you stopped, going for your jobs and so on.
Okay.
And this is a period where you share your experiences. Happy you put this question. Happy that I have to say something very important with all the background of my career and being together is, let us consider things globally. Let us look at the learner in his entire perspective. Let us not think that education is the be-all and end-all in the schooling system.
Sure.
You have the society, you have the home, you have the peers.
Yes.
So let us look at the person globally. And then this one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one Lord, one God. And that is the Paramatma. And the Atma is in every. How can I harm you when I know that Paramatma is in you? I say Namaste. I'm bowing to the Lord in you. Can I hurt you? Can I say anything which is nasty to you? I won't. So all these are things that need to be considered, reconsidered, I should say, because we have to listen to what the child says also. Our kids are very scientific, very much aware. Don't think that a mobile phone in their hand is a tool that is only destroying them. It is making them think. It is making them research. It's making them aware that there is knowledge everywhere. But should we not put them on the right track where they should be researching? And little things that we do perhaps going to help them, as you mentioned, you have the internet, and this
Okay.
challenges the classroom teaching.
Oh, fantastic. All right, Mrs. Mila, thank you very much on this beautiful saying. I'm sure there's a lot of positive things that people at home will take into consideration and hopefully adopt going forward. I take this opportunity to thank you for sharing your knowledge and being here. I have a feeling that we will have another interview in the future on other topics.
My pleasure.
And thank you very much for doing what you're doing and keep sharing with giving
So
back
a
to
pleasure.
society.
I think I'm looking forward to meeting you again,
All right.
and a pleasure to share with people.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this episode of Encounter. If you have any queries, questions, suggestions, or guests for the next episode of Encounter, drop an email. It's encounter@mbc.net.mu. Until the very next program, goodbye.